No, no buzz. A Just Bees book club. I, over the course of several weeks, I guess, probably, maybe a month or so, read Nourishing Resistance, Stories of Food, Protest, and Mutual Aid, edited by Wren, Awry. I feel like in one of these videos a million years ago at this point, I did a quick thing where I mentioned, Always Be Cooking, my old, Patreon blog, where I wrote recipes and sort of food criticism. I mentioned that again because it's very relevant right now. One of the things that I kept promising with that Patreon, which eventually fell by the wayside because I brains and not being a great person, sort of had to discontinue it. But one of the projects I was super invested in was sort of writing a broader critique of not like food media in general, but like ostensibly left wing food media, because Jesus Christ, is all of it just the most liberal shit in the world. Like the leftist you get in most food stuff is the most left you get in most like food writing or video is just like eat local and fuck all that noise. That has nothing to say about global systems of oppression. It has nothing to say about capitalism, especially. It is not bad advice or whatever, but it is the most vote with your dollars ass liberalism imaginable. And so, on one level, so deeply glad to have this book because it's genuinely across a number of things that have been ostensibly either anarchist or just general hashtag resistancy, that whole fucking spectrum within there that I have gotten access to and read. They have all boiled down to eat local, baby. That liberalism. Think about what's in season. You should think about what's in season. That's good. It's good. It's good for flavor. It's at least a more sustainable agriculture theoretically, but again, not without a broader systemic critique. But whatever. The broad systemic critique is not what this book is for, and so I'm still looking for that. You don't get in the comments. Don't get in the comments. Unless you're a B. If you're a B, I still don't respond to you. But if you're not, you shouldn't be here in the first place. This is a collection of people writing about specifically like mostly mutual aid projects around food. There's the Food Not Bomb stuff, obviously, as there should be, but other different ways. This does lean into a bit of a kind of a eat local, hire more prison guards kind of. Hire more women prison guards kind of liberalism on occasion. It's never that bad, but it's a this is extremely rude, but both in the disability pride and disability visibility books, there's like this the talk about the boutique clothing brand for disabled people by disabled people, and that is not a fundamentally bad thing, but it is a thing lacking a systemic critique, I might argue. This doesn't nearly hit anywhere near that, or go anywhere that frustrating. But yeah, I guess this was initially a column on a smaller sort of like a blog. I almost said blog website, a blog with a bunch of interviews that sort of got built out into a full book project by PM Press. Came out 2023. I think it's quite worth reading, especially for somebody like me. But I feel like I keep saying this about shit, but this is one of those things where I'm I think I need to follow up on this and I think this one might be the one that I actually try to follow up on other things that have been written by people who wrote articles for this, and sort of do that like work, because this is a thing that means a lot to me. I like to cook. Uh, just to shout out a couple things. I think the first one that like really like got me, I was like, oh, there's the third essay in here is called "The Contentious Biryani: Rice, Nation, and Descent" by Pariti Gupta. That was a really interesting article to me because it talks about sort of like, it talks about the rising Hindu fascism in India, and the association of biryani with both sort of both with wealth, in the way that media representations of protests that include anything beyond absolute bare life become wealth. It's the all those people at Occupy had cell phones or had iPhones or whatever, right? It's biryani saffron. Poor people can't afford to eat biryani. But also with the associations of biryani with both a meat dish, which, as Gupta explains, it does not have to be, but that is tied in with the sort of caste issues, and also biryani as a sort of Muslim sounding word, and the ways that all got politicized around a certain law being passed and protests against that law. I thought that was a really, really good little essay. It's an interesting one. The Anishnebegs, I'm butchering all of these things, Call to Protect the Moose by Lawrence de Marais. That is about Canadian preserve on native lands, that basically is a description of, it's sort of almost an after action report style thing of talking about the way that a native group was like, yo, there aren't enough moose in this area, we can't allow them to continue to be hunted because they're super important, and the Canadian government being like, it's fine, and then leading to the tribe and neighboring tribes like just straight up blocking off roads in direct action, and that leading to concrete like results, which you fucking love to hear it. It also like touches really deeply and effectively, I think, on solidarity between tribes and stuff like that. There's this very, very, very poignant moment there that stuck with me a lot. There's an interview on farming as a practice of abundance and liberation with Mayam. That's very good. There's this quote, Remaking the Commons, a history of eating in public. Eating in public is like a specific movement that I think calls itself back to the Diggers movement, who are like folks who resisted the enclosure of the commons by just digging shit up. And sort of like having an eating in public, I think, is broadly a movement to like just do random pop-ups and give out food to literally whoever. A lot of this is about just folks making food and giving it out to fucking whoever, because fuck means testing ass shit. And building community is deeply important, and food is deeply important within that. There's the Black Window essay about like an anarchist restaurant in Hong Kong. I'm gonna just skip over that one. There's one about a podcast that I'm extremely excited to check out at some point. The one that affects me deeply and made me listen. The other side of this is, again, I used to write a food blog, and I was like, man, I could pitch to this thing. It'd be very similar to the Lindsay Danis article. Queer potlucks offer food for capitalist critique and collective action, and that's it's not the particular queer potluck that I've helped put together and keep running for a long time, but yeah, there's something to say about being able to get together with other queer and trans folks on a semi-regular basis, where we all cook for each other, or you know, my essay in this would be eating is contributing, and then some sort of academic-y sub, like colon sub blah blah blah, an oral history of family dinner, something bullshit like that. But yeah, it's just a good and moving, I guess, maybe inspiring, I guess, depending. Something else, some other word that's positive and vague. About the way that, like, just being together with folks who have all cooked for each other and are all eating together is extremely important. There was On the Food of the West Virginia Mine Wars, an interview with Mike Costello. That one I kind of wish delved more into food even than it did, but it was really interesting recontextualizing the Battle of Blair Mountain and shit, like, in that time period as a question of food. Madeline Lane McKinley is in this, an old TA of mine, person who I truly admire as a writer and thinker. Check out Blindfield Journal, absolutely. Notes on Utopian Failure in the Commune Kitchens. Then the editor, Wren, wrote Abundance and Other Lessons on the Lower East Side, which is like a weird memoir-y thing about food not bombs and life and moving and stuff. And yeah, I feel very good about having read this, and I want to find more things that genuinely engage with food from a left-wing perspective, because I'll be goddamned if I'll read another fucking #resistance-kitchen ass book. Fucking die before I do it. Thanks for not watching.